What's going on, folks? Welcome back to D-Life HD. This is Victor, of course, and today I'm going to be giving my first impressions on the new game Dying Light 2 Stay Human. I was super excited for this game to come out, and I have been really enjoying my time with it. And before we get into it, I will say I have been sick, so I'm a little bit stuffed up, so excuse me for that. But without any further delay, let's jump right into it. Okay, firstly, I'd like to say, if you have not, please join our Discord. We leave a link in every single video in the description. I was actually streaming this video to our Discord server, and a couple people got to show up and hang out and watch the stream, and so if you're interested, you can join the server. I've been streaming more games in there, actually. I don't really do Twitch or stream on the actual channel itself. It's just Discord's a little bit more personal. We can all get into a voice channel and hang out and play the game. So if you want to see me stream any more games, please feel free to join the Discord. Anyways, Dying Light 2. I played the first Dying Light for the first time actually last year. It came to Switch. I think I maybe did a first impressions video, or actually I know that I included it as an honorable mention at least on our top 5 Switch games, that video I put out last, and I really enjoyed it. It was super awesome. I missed out on it originally when it came out back in 2015, and so it was perfect timing to play it now and I actually did beat it. I played the whole game because now the sequel is out, and the sequel is actually supposed to come out in December. Well, it got delayed quite a few times, but it finally came out on February 4th, and I have been loving it. I got it on my Xbox Series S, and Digital Foundry actually did a video on the different types of next-gen consoles and how they stack up to each other. And the Series S version that I am playing is locked at 30 frames, but it's really, really stable. I haven't even faced any dipping in frames so far, which is awesome. It seems like there is a performance mode on the other versions of the consoles. Like the PS5 version has a performance mode where it's at, I think, 180 at 60 frames, but like this game, for the most part, the main function of it is at 30 frames per second if you want to have the good quality, because there's a lot going on screen, and honestly, the stable 30 frames at 1080 for the Series S is really good, and honestly, the game looks fantastic. This is one of the best looking games I've ever seen. I think it is a real showcase of next-gen capabilities, if I'm being honest, because there is so much going on screen at any given time, and there's a lot of like muted tan colors going on because, you know, you're sort of in this apocalyptic area where everything's super run down, but it has this certain quality to the palette that they're using that the old game did not have. The old game, if I'm being honest, the environments were so bland in color. It was lots of grays that I think that really added to the, I guess, horror aspect of it. But this game is more vibrant. It is a lot of tans and such when you're out in the main field, but there's a lot more vibrancy to it, and I really like that. And I haven't even gotten to the second area in the game, which I believe there's only 2 main sections. There's like the smaller city where you start off on, and that's where I am right now. I'm about 5 hours into the game. But later you get off into the bigger city where there is more buildings. This is off of my speculation from trailers. I don't know this 100%, but right now my objective in the game is to go through this underground subway station area and get to the other side of the city. And from the trailers, this other side of the city has way more vegetation and greenery going on. So whereas you are going down into these underground sections, we're using flashlights and such, like the main areas, the open areas, they're surprisingly vibrant, and I actually really like it. I think it makes the environments just feel alive, like there is some thriving to humanity, and that is an aspect of the game. The main people you pair up with first are people who are trying to thrive under the new conditions of the world. There's actually factions in this game. So far, I've met 2 of the 3, which is the one that I just mentioned, and then these guys called the Peacekeepers. They call them PKs in the game. They are basically, well, they're like they're trying to take everything with force, essentially. And so they want to make peace, but really they're all about guns and brute force. And deep down, I can tell they're kind of evil. And then I think the third faction is basically just like chaotic people. They do whatever they want. They're marauders and renegades, I think is what they're called. And I haven't really run into many of them other than just like random guys out in the field. But I really like that they're adding factions to this game. That's something that I really like about American RPGs is, you know, you can side with different people, and I think that's really cool. You know, I don't know who I'm going to side with. Sometimes I like to pick the bad guys in situations just to see how it'll change up the story, but we'll see if I can tick off maybe someone from every single side, or if I'm going to be able to go somewhere down the middle and try to appeal to everybody. I don't know. I'm not sure how many options there are. There haven't been a lot of decisions that I've had to make so far, but the actual gameplay itself is incredible. The controls are really similar to the previous entry, but turned up to 100. Everything in this game is turned up to 100. There's way more combat techniques that you can use. Like, one of the things they teach you early on is you can do like a perfect block for when an enemy swings at you. So like you block right at the right second and it will stun them. And then you can like bounce off of the stunned person's body and kick another guy in the face. There's all types of like drop kicks that you can pair with your parkour and everything. And as you upgrade your skill tree, you get more and more of these moves. That's something that was in the first game. But like I said, on this game, everything's turned up to 100. And I really love it. The controls are actually kind of confusing sometimes because there's so much parkour capability. And another thing they've added to the controls is you really got to watch your stamina in this game. In the previous game, there was stamina, but you know, it didn't really matter all that much. But in this one, you cannot just freely climb everything. You know, I hate to compare it back to Breath of the Wild because ultimately this game is nothing like Breath of the Wild, but there are a couple elements in here that I think take inspiration from things like Breath of the Wild and the Assassin's Creed games, because your stamina is a big part. You can climb everything, of course, because it's a parkour game. You could climb most stuff in the previous game, but it's all about managing, you know, your stamina and being able to see what you can climb here and there, different parts of buildings. But also, you are clearing towers, which is another thing that's taken from Assassin's Creed and Breath of the Wild. But these towers come in the form of windmills. So there's all these windmills sprinkled throughout the land, and you can go through and try to climb up to the top of each of them. And I'm just like, holy cow, this feels a lot like Breath of the Wild, because certain ones are more challenging than others, and it depends on how much stamina you have in order to complete these windmills. And when you get to the top, you know, you set up a power, and maybe a bunch of people will move in under the tower and it will be a safe zone, but you're establishing all these different areas, and that reminds me a lot of something like Breath of the Wild in an open world game. Another thing that might call back to Breath of the Wild is one of the upgrading systems where you find all of these GRE crates throughout the world. That's part of the lore, GRE being this giant corporation that messed around with the virus. And those, you find these little vials inside that you can use to upgrade either your health or your stamina. I mean, those are two basic mechanics that are in every single game, stamina and health, but you have to go around and collect different vials, and once you get enough, you can upgrade either one of those. You know, that's also another element of Breath of the Wild where you're going into shrines and getting these orbs so you can collect them to upgrade your health and stamina. So I thought that was funny. I know it's sort of a basic mechanic, any game could use it, but these little elements, they are reminding me of Breath of the Wild, and I think that's cool. I think that's awesome. And another thing to get these vials are you can like infiltrate these certain bases that GRE established, but you have to do them at nighttime, because during the day all the big zombies are down inside these bases, but then at night they come out into the main world and you can sneak down into them and find all of these crates and goodies. And it's a high risk because there will still be like lurking zombies down inside these areas, and it's pretty spooky, honestly, because you got to go through and sneak around with your flashlight. There's a lot more sneaking going on in this game, but overall I'm having a great time. Combat's amazing. Story's a little flat so far. I will see how it picks up, but I don't think I like Aiden, the main character, as much as I like Crane, the previous guy. Crane's a lot cooler, but we'll see. Maybe I'll enjoy Aiden's story as we progress, but so far, I'm really loving it and I can't wait to play more.
Alright guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments down below what you thought of this video. We love talking to you guys. Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like these. Lastly, check out our Twitter account for gameplay of the latest releases. But most importantly of all, remember to always stay one up.